It's Wednesday. It means it's the time to tackle issues that matter to you. Women of color, black queens. I added that because I can do that. It's called Sharon's Table. Joining me as always, Ameshia Cross, Candace, Kelley, Brittany Cooper. Black, beautiful, bold. All three of you. I just love you, ladies. And one day I'm going to get my lighting like the three of you, okay? One day. It won't be today. I do want to start with this. Here we are, Georgia, and I don't know how it's going to play out. David Perdue officially announcing he is running for governor. He's going to challenge the sitting Republican, Brian Kemp. Remember when Trump loved him? Okay, now he's being primaried. This was his focus, right? Kemp, yes, but he had another opponent that he wanted to focus on first. So let's look at that. Let's listen.
I'm David Perdue. I'm running for governor to make sure Stacey Abrams is never governor of Georgia. Make no mistake, Abrams will smile, lie, and cheat to transform Georgia into her radical vision of a state that would look more like California or New York. To fight back, we simply have to be united. And let me be very clear. Over my dead body will we ever give Stacey Abrams control of our elections again.
See, I'm not going to take the bait and something about that last part. Brittany, help me. Help all of us understand. Is this a fuel injector? What?
Look, white male rage is completely irrational and unreasonable. And what I really want to say is projection much, lying, cheating, and stealing. That is what Republicans do, right? And then they try to, we have the term gaslighting, right? Where other people mess with you and then say that you're crazy, right? And that you're the one causing the problem and that you're the abuser. And so the Republican Party is a massive cultural gaslighting mechanism against the rest of us. And they're also really drawing on these old tropes of Black women as untrustworthy, as cunning, stereotypical Jezebels, right? And so we know what he's doing. He's appealing to an angry white Republican base to tell them that she has, been a fraud, when in actuality, Stacey Abrams is, if integrity, right, were a walking billboard, it is Stacey Abrams who's trying to restore integrity to the Georgia elections. And I'm going to go ahead and give that white man what he wants, which is straight up outrage. I am outraged that he would say that so brazenly against this Black woman.
And Ameshia, is it enough to bring white women along with the men that he was targeting that message to?
That's part of the key. They recognize in Georgia, as well as Republicans across the country, that they need more than just angry white men. They have to bring on white women as well. We saw that work in Virginia, and we're seeing that those undertones are being brought to bear in Georgia as well. I think that something just said hit the nail on the head. We see that these tropes are consistently used against Black women. There isn't anyone in Georgia that is more tried and true than Stacey Abrams. She walks it like she talks it. She's been doing this for decades now. She's someone who is known across the state. She's someone who values the state. She's someone who has chosen positions that not only matter to those in the urban areas of the state, but also the rural areas, and she can speak to those needs. And I think that for Stacey Abrams, a lot of what was said in that infomercial and that campaign ad are things that just don't even apply. She understands the South, and more importantly, she understands the state of Georgia. She's not trying to turn it into New York or California. Those are just tropes that the Republican Party likes to use because they know far-right Republicans are scared as hell of anything ultra-liberal. But I would argue that what we're seeing from Stacey is this revolution of sorts when it comes to trying to level the playing field across the board. She wants to bring civil rights to the forefront. She wants to make our elections more integrity filled. This is something that she has devoted her life to, and she deserves respect for that, not castigation.
Yeah, and so I was going to ask you, why so afraid of Stacey Abrams? But I think you just answered it, right? It's too much like doing the right things on behalf of Black people, and frankly, all people. Don't all people want some integrity? The answer is no. But I do want to shift gears to something called code switching. We know exactly what it is, Candace. There's research out there, recent research, showing more Black people conform to their white counterparts at work, the classroom. The more professional we're deemed by white standards, let's be clear about that, Nothing new to us. But it's so, we're so tired. Is this why we all have high blood pressure and we're fighting all of these things every day?
That's right. Listen, when we code switch, it really is a form of racism because we have our white counterparts saying that if you don't do or act the way that we want you to, we're not going to accept you. And as you said, studies have shown that this has led to mental health issues and physical issues. But at the end of the day, it's racist. You know, earlier during this week, we talked about a man who was suing in California because he didn't want to cut off his locks. And he's protected by the Crown Act. So people should know that there are laws in place in order to protect you. Now, you have to fight a little bit. You shouldn't have to do it in the beginning to begin with in terms of code switching. But what happens when people don't code switch is that they lose a little part of themselves. They lose legacy, too, because if you don't get that job, if you don't get that house, if you don't get into that school, then that takes away from you only because you have not acted like your white counterpart. So when we keep that in mind, we should know that there are laws out there already on the books that protect us in order to do what we want to do, because code switching translates into racism, and that's the bottom line. Look at us. We code switch every day. We change our hair. We don't use the same talk that we talk at that barbecue on the weekend and come into work and do the same thing. You code switch, everybody does it, but there's a lot more that is expected of Blacks in the workspace and educational spaces too. And we've seen headlines across the country for years, especially about Black women in their hair, about how it's not unacceptable, about how it is unacceptable, but how now we've fought hard in order to put laws on the books in order to change that.
But isn't this, though, Brittany, it's more than just fitting in. Don't talk to me about fitting in. It really is about survival. In order to survive and thrive and have the things that every decent person should want, you have to do this.
Look, I think that, I tend to have a complicated view of this, right? Which is, when I was a kid and I got accused of, talking white and acting white, and I would come home and complain and wonder if my authenticity was in question. But one of the things that I think about Black people is that we are versatile, and that while code switching is something that has been imposed on us because of white supremacy, we have turned it into a superpower. And so I think that for folks who might feel some angst about your authenticity is not in question because you do what you have to do to make it. You do what you have to do. As long as you aren't throwing our people under the bus, as long as you aren't making it life harder for other folks, then the survival mechanisms that we use are important. And I also think too that it becomes a form of armor. And while I hate that Black women in particular, have to go out in the world with armor, I also like that everybody doesn't know everything about, who I am or how I talk to my folks when I'm home. Everything is not for everybody. And so I think we got to have a little bit of complicated narrative about this that says Black folks transform everything that we do, including code switching. And so I actually like a little bit of that moment when we come in with the wig one day and then a shortcut the next day, and all our white counterparts are like,
what
happened to your hair? Right? It's like, well,
better not ask to touch it.
Just mess with them a little bit, like, what do you mean? Right?
Yeah.
We got to have some fun too. Yeah,
we do. And when I think about who was picture perfect at this, and there's so many of us who are good at it, but Michelle Obama, okay, a real one, a real one. And then, you still had those in white America. Oh, I love her shoulders. I just love what she stands for. I love her. Okay. Let's talk about the VP. I don't know what to do to get people to stop. I need you to stop now. Vice President Harris, in the crosshairs of these little trolls, and they're trolls even if they're working for the Washington Post this morning, okay? The VP gets no respect, and it was revealed recently, and Mike and I talked about this, that she doesn't use Bluetooth headphones because she thinks it's a security risk. Duh. Okay, I use the example of baby monitors and garage door openers. Hello, right. Okay, I can't unhear what I hear next door at my neighbor. They got a lot of kids, okay, and they keep working on it. So, she has been picked on for everything from wires dangling her ears, all kinds of stuff. Candace, I wish you could can't you file a lawsuit or something to make these people stop? What do we do here?
Listen, she's one beat away from the White House presidency. She is setting up. She knows exactly what she's doing. She says, you aren't going to listen on my conversations and hear me code switch, or you're not going to listen on my conversations and hear me say something wrong. So while the bigger picture of it does seem a little bit ridiculous in terms of if you Google her now, you get all of these headlines about her and these loose headphones. But at the bottom, at the end of it, what we're talking about is someone who needs to market herself for the presidency, and she doesn't want to get caught out there. And she does make a very good point, and that is that privacy is of concern when it comes to the vice president and someone on her level. All we keep hearing about is her and her rocky relationships inside of the White House. She certainly doesn't want anybody hearing her actually say about how there are rocky relationships because of her. There's another picture here. There's the privacy issue that we all need to think about at all times. So she's opened up the door for us to think about how private are we really? When we walk out of this house, when I go out for 8 hours, I'm going to be on camera over 200 or more times, just not even on my own volition. The cameras are going to be out there. Facebook, what are they doing with our privacy rights? So I think it brings up a lot of good issues, but to hone in on that and make that the thing that we're talking about doesn't make sense, but for a very good reason. She knows exactly what she's doing because she's priming herself. She's getting ready for that election.
She's not using Bluetooth. Don Lemon, she probably changed her number so he can't text her like he was texting Jussie and now it's public, okay? She can't do the things she used to do. And the fact that you mentioned, Candace, that she is a heartbeat away from the presidency, listen, she's going to have to run through 50 brick walls and probably walk through fire and everything else, because there ain't no way a black woman is going, because once we get in, Ameshia, how much worse is it going to get?
Oh, this is it on minor steroids. I think that the further we get towards 2024, there's going to be a high octane push against Kamala Harris. And I would argue that this is also a window into what Stacey Abrams is going to face in Georgia, because these attacks against Black women are not going to stop.
Yes.
Black women in positions of power have always been seen as the most dangerous thing. It's been said time and time again. A Black woman who knows her business and is doing the work is the most dangerous thing to white America. And I don't think that that's ever going to go away. That's just how they see it. And they will fight day in and day out to destroy. And what Kamala is facing right now is completely ridiculous. Nobody should be coming at her for her headphone choice. Heck, I'm a millennial, and guess what? I prefer wired headphones as well, because I don't have to get on the airplane and then tell me that at least 60 people around me can connect to my phone if I have the Bluetooth in. So I think that there's something to be said about it security-wise. And again, we spoke a few days ago, Sharon. It upsets me because this is an argument that we did not have to have. It's a stupid argument. It's one that is not based in any level of fact. I worked in the Obama White House. At the end of the day, he used a BlackBerry the entire time. Do you know when BlackBerries went out of style for the rest of America? At least 12 years before he even got elected. So we have to be very real about the security functions that actually are there when you're in that level of power in the White House. That has to be taken into consideration. It makes absolute sense that she would not want to use these wireless headphones, this Bluetooth technology, knowing that people are already, hampering to come chase after her to just run a headline, whether it is false or even more false, because I can't even say true at this point. They're going after whatever they can grasp.
More false. Yeah, I like that. I'm going to put it on a T-shirt, and we can split the proceeds, because it's just going to sell out. It's going to sell out. I want you to do something for me, Ameshia. The next time you're on a plane with your dangling, I want you to take a selfie, and maybe we all should post in solidarity with her. We only got about a minute left, and Brittany, I want you to take it away, because there's this coalition of Black women who are meeting with her, Zooming, saying, look, dispatch us. We're going to be boots on the ground for you. We're going to get this message out. We're going to make sure we prop you up appropriately to where you should be, and we're not going to let this happen. Are Black women enough? And you're right, Ameshia. Stacey Abrams, here it comes. They act like Stacey Abrams is running for the White House too. So, Brittany, is it going to be enough? What are we going to be able to do here to really lock arms and not just be a barrier for her, to all this filth?
Two things. One of the ways Kamala is very smart. Hillary Clinton lost the presidency over emails, to be clear, because she was seen as a security risk. And so this idea about Black women and safety and the safety of the country is actually a really important thread. And I hope Kamala's team pivots that story so that it becomes about how she is thinking about the safety of the nation.
Yes.
And so here we have Black women protecting the safety of the nation. Black women came into their own in 2020. Black women's organization and coalition building and fundraising and and the back channels were the reason that Biden picked Kamala as the VP. There was an entirely huge push to make sure that when he said he would pick a woman for the vice presidency, that woman would be a Black woman. And so I think, and have been able to witness, that Black women are actually moving at as political operatives in ways that we haven't seen. And that's also because of Stacey Abrams, who started an organization to train Black and Latino political operatives. They're coming into their own. They're moving in these bastions of power in a way that we haven't seen since the 80s and the Jesse Jackson campaign, and now on a much larger scale. And so I think you should not underestimate Black women and what they're trying to do, because I think we've been observing this political system for many decades at this point, and now we understand the assignment fully and in total. And I do think that Black women are going to be able to make some things happen for Kamala and for Stacey going forward. It's one of the things that makes me optimistic about this political moment. Yeah.
When you talk, it makes me I flutter, and I just can't help it. Okay. I love you. I love you, Brittany. I love you, Candace. I love you, Ameshia. I don't ever want to lose you ladies. Okay. But I'd be willing to let you go for Kamala. I want that to be the press secretary. Brittany, Ameshia, I want you all protecting her. And Candace, I want you to sue everybody. I don't care if she's a public figure. Figure it out. I know you can thread the needle. But I don't ever want to be apart from you. But for this cause, to hear you ladies talk about this, it's why we have you at the table. I mean it. You just got me, because I was being a little ornery this morning. You got me all the way together, okay? That doesn't mean I'm not going to be ornery after I say goodbye to you. But for now, you got me all the way together. Ladies, I can't wait till we do it again next week. Same time, same place. Keep going, okay? And don't forget the selfie, Ameshia, with this beautiful lighting. We got to talk. We really got to talk, the three of you. Candace, with your floral print. All right. Much more. Thank you, ladies. Much more. Start your day when we come right back. Why can't I look like the other three?